Yeah, that body's a blessing, girl.
Number 1. George Staney. On June 16, 1944, when 14 years old young George Staney was executed, the US set a record of the youngest man to be officially implanted to the 20th century. Staney had murder of two women named Betty Joan Binnicker and Mary Emma Thames. Their bodies were found in a pit full of sand. The women had acute fractured skulls which were allegedly inflicted by a railroad spike found at some distance from town. In his confession, Staney reported he intended to have sex with Betty but somehow ended up murdering the woman. Number 2. Leonel Tate. Mother Kathleen Grosset Tate was babysitting Tiffany when one day she left the baby with her son Leonel, who was watching the television while she went upstairs. At one time, she heard the children screaming and yelled back at them to be quiet, but didn't go downstairs to check what the commotion was all about. An hour later, Leonel called his mother and told her that they were wrestling and he had slammed the baby's head on the table. The girl was not breathing. Medical examination reported the cause of the death was sharp stomping that lacerated Tiffany's liver. Number 3. Barry Dale Lochitis. On the 2nd of February 1996, Barry Lochitis, 14, dressed as a Wild West-style gunslinger and used a duster to conceal a hunting rifle and two handguns. He was carrying almost 80 rounds of ammunition. Rather than taking the bus, he walked the distance between his house and the middle school. Lochitis opened fire on his algebra teacher as soon as she opened the door and hit her with one round in the chest. She died immediately, still holding an eraser in her hand. He then fired at students, killing two, one of them a bully to him. He also shot a girl in the arm. Number 4. Craig Price. In 1989, Price was charged with the murder of Joan Heaton, her two daughters Jennifer and Melissa, at their home. He had stabbed the 8-year-old so fiercely that the knife broke off in Melissa's neck. Initially, the authorities suspected a burglar and looked around the neighborhood for cut or wound in the hand of any man. They found Craig Price with a wound in his wrist. On investigating Craig's room, they found the knife, gloves, and other items with dry blood on them. Number 5. Joshua Phillips. One day after Joshua Phillips left for school, his mother went to clean his room. While cleaning, she noticed a wet spot under her son's bed and imagined it was probably a leak from his waterbed. So she dug deep and found electrical tape holding the frame together. Then she removed enough tape to discover the body of an 8-year-old girl hidden inside the pedestal of Phillips' waterbed. It was the dead body of Madeline Clifton, a neighbor girl who had been missing for the past 7 days. People were quite shocked because Phillips was one of the neighbors who had volunteered to search for the missing girl. Number 6. Eric Smith. At 13, Eric Smith was subjected to bullying for his thick glasses, freckles, long red hairs, and his elongated ears. They were supposedly the side effect of a medicine his mother had taken for her epilepsy when she was pregnant. One day, Smith was charged for the murder of a 4-year-old boy, Derek Robbie. Smith had strangled the boy and had smashed his head by larger stones. After all this, he had been sexually assaulted the corpse. For some reason, Smith could not give a definite answer as to why he had committed the crime. A psychiatrist diagnosed Smith and found out the answer. He was suffering from intermittent explosive disorder. Smith was convicted of second-degree murder and sent to prison. Number 7. Graham Young. Graham Young from an early age was fascinated with chemistry, especially poison. He idolized murderers such as Adolf Hitler, William Palmer, Dr. Hawley Crippen, amongst others. Young began experimenting with poisons at the age of 14 and started buying chemicals in the name of his cool experiment. His family and friends were his victims. His father suddenly one day becomes ill, next the wife and then the daughter. All of them suffered from continuous vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach pains. In 1962, Young kills his grandmother by a poison. Number 8. John Venables and Robert Thompson. John and Robert found a little boy, James Bulger, waiting for his mother, and the idea of the little boy getting knocked over by a vehicle thrilled them. They took the little boy and started walking, while punching, kicking him all the way. They picked little James up and dropped him on his head. They took him to the local railway and found paint in his left eye, beat him with bricks and hit him with an iron bar, and finally laid James' body on the railroad track. James reportedly died sometime before the train hit him. Number 9. Jesse Pomeroy. Pomeroy showed cruel streaks at the age of 11. He had once trapped 7 children and tied and tortured them using a knife or pins. He was soon caught and sent to a reform school, where he was to stay until he was 21, but was released after a year on accounts of good behavior. After 3 years, he reportedly kidnapped and killed a 10-year-old girl named Katie Curran. He also accused of murdering a 4-year-old boy whose mutilated body was found in a bay. Jesse Pomeroy was sentenced to life imprisonment, making him the youngest human convicted of first-degree murder in the history of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Number 10. Mary Bell. 3-year-old Brian Howe, who had been strangled by 11-year-old Mary Bell. His hair was cut, his thighs were full of punch marks, his genitals were partially skinned, and the letter M had been imprinted on his stomach. Mary's such behavior can be reasoned with the terrible life she was born in. She, for some reason, grew up believing her father was a criminal who had been earlier arrested for armed robbery. No one really knows her biological father's identity. Mary, at the age of 4, was forced into sexual engagement with men by her prostitute mother. After her trial, Mary, on account of her generousness, was sent to all-boys facility.